Welcome to my studio space. There is almost nothing I enjoy more than welcoming people in to a creative space to work together. I am so passionate about creativity being such a vital part of us as humans, and the reality that creative work influences and shapes culture in huge ways. The creatives are the ones that can shift and shape people's hearts through music, through film, through paintings, through storybooks you reread to our children. I'm so passionate about the work that people in creative fields do, as well as being so passionate about every human on the planet living into their birthright of growing creatively. I love inviting people into creative spaces, and while I wish I could invite all of y'all in for a cup of tea and to get out sketchbooks and play around and just experiment with all the stuff that I have in here, it's not actually feasible to do that. But I'm excited to tell you about the Patreon that I'm going to be opening and how that's a way that we can connect as if we were studio mates. Patreon is a wonderful website that makes it so easy for creatives to share what they're learning, to invite people into the process, and to make it easy on your end as a monthly subscriber to check in with the people you want to be a part of their community, to support them and the work that they're doing, and move on when you're ready to. You can cancel anytime. So I am sharing my studio space on Patreon, Jane Boutwell Studio, and if you want to join as a studio mate member and join the creative group that I'm going to be beginning there, it's called the Growing Creative Fellowship, because I think we all can grow our creativity and live more into our birthright as humans. And I'm going to be sharing monthly live Zoom calls where we will literally get out our sketchbooks, get out paper and pencil. If you don't have a sketchbook near you, grab the backside of a bill and some markers. What you're using doesn't matter, but taking a break from the day-to-day and plugging into your creative heart is so important. So I'll be picking kind of a theme for each month and send some visuals that we'll look through and sketch from or paint from, or whatever your medium is. Get out the Play-Doh and make Play-Doh figurines. The world's your oyster. Do it your way, but join us. And there will be some time. I usually like to start things off with some kind of inspiration, maybe share something that's shaping my heart as a creative, maybe share a poem, something that's really inspiring me, and hopefully will inspire you as well. Then we'll draw, we'll paint, we'll chat while we're making, just like we're studio mates in the same space. And then at the end, I'll probably have, usually depending on what the topic is, I'll probably give you a little bit of time for reflection to see if anything's kind of coming up. Sometimes as I'm working on something, maybe I start with just the simple shape of a swallow flying and how striking it is. And then as I'm drawing them and studying them, metaphors and symbolism and connection to things that I'm working on or learning or worried about start to form, and the creative process is so powerful like that. So then at the end of our time together in our monthly Zoom calls, there'll be a space for any kind of sharing. You can share visually what you've been working on. You can talk about what you liked, what frustrated you, and if there's any kind of deeper heart stuff that bubbled up, we would love to hear that. I cannot wait to see how this space is shaped by the people that join it, and how each of us are shaped by making space for this kind of time in our life. I also will be sharing a pre-recorded tutorial or lesson once a month. A lot of these will be coming from different things that I'm dabbling in. I use all kinds of creative mediums in the work that I do, whether it's painting, sometimes I'm stitching back into the paper, sometimes it's sculpture, sometimes it's pottery, sometimes it's flower arranging, or making wreaths or sculptures out of things in nature, Sometimes it's printmaking, carving into print blocks and utilizing that in other ways. Even if these are not mediums you plan to do a lot of work in, I think that it's vital to our creative hearts to dabble and play and experiment and stay a beginner. So trying something new that you haven't done before or trying it in a different way helps you keep that beginner mindset, which is so important for just thriving as a creative and for keeping you from burnout. Anyway, there's various aspects that are included in what I'm going to share, and they're all very intentional to help just keep you alive inside, in your heart, in your creative heart, and thriving. Some of these recordings I created back in 2020 when I first opened the Grow and Creative Fellowship as a standalone membership. I used to send supplies in boxes. It was a beautiful thing during the time when so much of our in-person connecting was shut down. But it was a lot for me to run, as well as my creative practice and my family of 4 kids. So that closed for a time, but I'm excited to be able to share the great tutorials that were made during that time and the lessons, and also the thing that came out of that time was formulating kind of a core curriculum of my things that I've learned about creativity as a whole, things that really help us as creatives make authentic work that's ours uniquely to make, that speaks from our life experience in a way no one else can, create with courage and compassion, compassion for others, and the self-compassion that we need in order to courageously share expressive artwork. And then also sustainable art, creating and acknowledging the rhythms of the creative phases. That has to include a resting phase and the editing, the weeding, the pruning back phases. I like to ignore those, but they're a vital part as well. So in the Growing Creative Fellowship tier of Patreon membership, you'll also get the core curriculum, 5 stages of creative growth, each of those lessons, right when you join. And I just look so forward to getting to know each of you more and sharing our creative journeys with each other.